The year is 1921. John Dickinson Schneider is 23 years old and has just started a printing company in the basement of his parents' home in Chicago. John's mother had loaned him the money to buy his printing press and start a company with his 3 siblings. John names his company John Dickinson Schneider Printer Craftsman. The story of the firm of John Dickinson Schneider is about a young man who starts a company in difficult times. It's about a man who has both unshakable principles and steadfast courage to adapt and change. And it's the story of a generous man who entrusts the future of his life's work to his employees for their faithful stewardship. In the 1920s, the city of Chicago is home to many of the largest printing companies in the United States. To compete as a startup against these larger established companies, John Schneider focuses on quality and service, principles that help his company outgrow the family basement in 2 short years. Only 8 years passed from the founding of John Schneider's company in 1929, when the stock market crashes and much of the world plunges into the Great Depression. Even in those dark days, John continues to focus on quality and service, and on building personal relationships with his customers and his employees. Business volume increases in all but 1 year during the Depression, and John never lays off a single worker. John also meets the love of his life, Minnie Remley, and they build their company together, treating their employees like family. Early in their marriage, John and Minnie encounter a destitute man in a tattered suit, a human casualty of the Great Depression. Not wanting to intrude or embarrass the man, John discreetly takes a photograph as the man walks away and vows to himself that no one who ever works for him or his company will suffer a similar fate. For John Schneider, his employees are crucial to his business, and even during the Depression and the war years, he raises wages and ensures his employees have jobs. But after a labor union dispute about overtime, John cannot meet the needs of his customers. He will not continue in business with mediocre service, so he shuts down his company rather than violate his principles. Within the next year, John reopens his company under the same name with his most loyal and experienced workers, building again, recovering from adversity. In 1938, John Schneider's company begins printing heirloom-quality birth certificates for hospitals, printed for a new client, the Franklin C. Hollister Company. 10 years later, in 1948, John purchases the Franklin C. Hollister Company and enters what is for him a new industry. While he continues to run his successful printing business, John begins making medical products under the name Hollister. John chooses a stork to be the official symbol of Hollister, and the early products form a nucleus of innovation: a newborn baby foot printer, cord clamp, the revolutionary Identiband patient identification bracelet, and other medical products. Then, in the early 1960s, a single idea changes the destiny of John Schneider's company. Hollister introduces its first ostomy products in 1963. The products are revolutionary and create overwhelming demand from hospitals, nurses, and patients. Ever the entrepreneur, John looks to the future once again and chooses the small community of Kirksville, Missouri, almost 400 miles away from Chicago, to build an ostomy manufacturing plant, the biggest risk of his life. For John Schneider's company, the transition into medical products and ostomy manufacturing has been a risky venture, but the risk turns to success. The company prospers, and John is determined to continue adapting and evolving for the future. He diversifies further into other medical products and services, and he also adapts and evolves the ownership and governance of his company, supported as always by his wife, Minnie, and ably assisted by his trusted advocate and counselor, Richard T. Zwerner. As John nears retirement, through an act of selfless generosity, he transfers ownership of his company and entrusts his life's work to his employees as stewards. Today, the firm of John Dickinson Schneider continues to be independent and employee-owned, a global medical products and services corporation with two subsidiaries. Hollister Incorporated, designing and manufacturing advanced medical products, and KMT Medical, providing home health services to consumers who depend on those services to live their lives with dignity. As always, there are challenges. There are also opportunities to adapt and to innovate. Most importantly, JDS associates around the world have opportunities to be inspired. The legacy of John and Minnie Schneider remains the foundational bedrock. The company culture, the living expression of that legacy. Together, the legacy and culture endure through the work of associates today and will endure for generations to come.
I've been in business all my life, trying to accomplish something. I like to do things first class and do them well. We're trying to make individual, original products, each of them better than was anything that was available before.